I am.
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 I am. We are.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this evening's episode of We Are DownStream Outdoors. We're coming to a close here on We Are DownStream Outdoors. Including this episode, there's only 3 more episodes of We Are DownStream Outdoors to air because we are that close to 200 episodes. It's really exciting. And on that note, I'd like to introduce my girlfriend, Erin. Erin was actually part of the reason Downstream Outdoors got started, but I'm getting a little bit ahead of ourselves, so let's get a little bit of information from Erin, and then we're going to tell some fun stories. So, Erin, I know you've told me some stories. What are some of your early memories of being in the outdoors? Because obviously you grew up a very different lifestyle than I did, and a lot of the guys who come on the show have.
I grew up about 20 minutes outside of the city of Pittsburgh. But from a young age, I remember going camping up at a campground with my grandparents, and my other grandparents had a cabin in Pomatuning, and we used to go up there a lot in the summer, and we'd fish and go swimming and, you know, stuff like that. We actually were talking about this the other night. One of my first memories of going fishing, we were on my uncle's pontoon boat, and I had a little, 2-foot baitcaster rod, and I caught myself a 12-inch walleye. And I got so excited that I had something on that, I completely forgot to reel it in, and dropped the rod, and just started pulling in the line.
I think we've been that excited since then, though, too, haven't we?
We have, especially up in Erie.
Yeah,
especially hooking that steelhead. But I kept a hold of the reel that time. I reeled that one in. I didn't try pulling that guy in by the line.
You've had some pretty good luck, though, since you started fishing with me. You've pulled in some nice big brown trout and some steelhead, and you've done pretty good. Correct me if I'm wrong, though. Your first fishing trip with me was the day before Thanksgiving?
Day before Thanksgiving. Now, like we said, I've gone fishing a lot, but it was always sitting on the shore fishing into a body of water or being out on a boat in the water. I had never actually done any type of wading, and we decided we were going to go wading the day before Thanksgiving, and of course there was a big snowstorm that day.
But it was beautiful. It
was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful being on the water. My boots didn't fit right with my waders, so I had an old pair of tennis shoes that didn't bode well for me. I think I fell 3 times that day.
Yep.
Only one time, though, was it a game ender where I sunk my whole arm in the water.
But that was still after probably about 3 hours of fishing.
Right. It was starting to get dark. That was like the end of our trip.
Yeah.
But then I got the right boots that night, and we went out the next day to, I believe, the Little J.
Yep. And I believe Carl went with us that day.
Carl went with us that day, and we had a good day.
And it turned out way better than your first trip, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
But, what is it, besides being with me, about the outdoors that you enjoy?
It's relaxing. It's peaceful, and it's just nice to unplug for a while. I work on computers all week long, so, I spend 40 hours a week staring at a computer screen. So it's nice just to get out there and get that break from electronics.
Yeah, fair enough. I totally get that. It was something we don't talk a whole lot about on the show is we're actually avid campers. We have access, my family has land up in Cambria County, and we go there quite often, and we tent camp.
We do. We tent camp. I can't say that we rough it too much, though. I mean, we have a lot of really nice amenities for us camping, but we like to spend, most of our summer up there as much as we can.
Nice amenities to an extent.
There's no electricity, no plumbing, so...
And anything we want at our camp, we have to carry it in on our backs.
This is true.
We have no road into the camp. So it's probably half a mile from the paved road to where we actually camp, and anything we want, we have to trudge it in there through the swamp, through the mud, through the creek.
We go through a lot to get camp set up for the year, but once it's set up, then we're pretty good.
Yeah, it really is. And believe it or not, as much as I love camping, there's a lot of weekends she's the driving force to go camping because you need that unplugged from society.
I do. I love it. We don't have any cell phone service up there, which is amazing. No electronics really are brought up, and it's just nice, go tuck away for a little bit, read a book, or, just relax by the fire some, go, shoot some bows and arrows, shoot some guns, just whatever you want. We're acres away from anybody else, so.
And it's amazing, we've talked about this before, you work up there, but work never seems like work at camp.
No, because we're accomplishing stuff for ourselves, for the family and everything, and hopefully making it a place that we'll all be able to enjoy much more comfortably
as the years go on.
Years go on.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So let's talk a little bit of history about Downstream Outdoors. Most people, if you watch, you'll see Erin's names in the credits a lot of times, but you're not actually on the camera a whole bunch. You've been on a couple times, but you're not on the camera a whole bunch. You're more behind the scenes. But you were the one who actually said, "I think we need to do this."
If you remember, you were going out to tap for some maple syrup. Sap, and you just had a hankering for it that day. So I told him that I knew the general idea of how people would take a spile and go tap for some maple sap, but I'd never seen it done. So I just told him to take some pictures for me. And instead, he went ahead and he turned around and sent me a video of him doing it. So after
just with my cell phone, finding places to prop it up and everything, and it was never meant for anybody but her.
And the way he explained it, he was teaching me what he was doing instead of just saying, "Hey, here's a tree, sticking this thing in it to get some sap out." He actually went into what he was doing, why he was doing it, and went step by step. And I just said, with the knowledge you have, I think we need to put you on YouTube or something. And it's just something he's always seemed to enjoy doing. So we looked around and we got our first GoPro camera.
Yep, original GoPro, and that's all we had was an original GoPro there at the beginning.
No display screen or anything. Yep. You just kind of had to eyeball it and hope you had a good angle.
A couple accessories. We had the head mount and the chest mount and a couple other things.
And the floating rig.
Yes, we did. Which we haven't brought the floating rig out in a while. We need to bring that back out again.
That was one of the first things we did with it, though. We sunk it in the water and let it sit there. There's a special somewhere right around the beginning of the episodes, the Peters Lake special, where the camera was underwater for so long and you just see the fish coming up to it wondering, what is this thing?
Yeah. I remember one of the first times, it was actually episode 2, I was at Bob's Creek, and I had the floating rig with me, and I tried to send it down over a waterfall.
It got stuck.
It got stuck in a log jam, and I finally fished it out of the log jam, and it went over the waterfall, and I reviewed the footage later, and I'm like, this is just crap. I can't use this. Even back then, it was knowing as little as I knew about video at that time, it was just crap. I knew I couldn't use it.
At that point in time, too, you were shooting the videos, giving me the footage. I was coming back to Pittsburgh to edit it because we didn't have...
No.
We were editing it a lot.
We were editing together. And then you would save it and bring it back to Pittsburgh, upload it to the YouTube, because I had no internet service. I didn't care to have internet service.
I brought him into this century with technology a little bit.
She did. I mean, she brought internet television to my house, cable to my house,
streaming services,
updated cell phones, and things like that. Things I just didn't have or really have a need for before we started all this. Really.
Yeah.
But yeah, ultimately, people don't realize, you are the reason Downstream Outdoors started. Yeah, it was something I wanted to do, and, I had aspirations of doing, but I didn't really have a means to do the things that I wanted to do, and you were the one who actually brought about the means of, okay, well, Paul's got this dream, how can I help him make it into a reality?
And once we started deciding, hey, we're gonna start doing these videos, I believe it was you and Jake who had come up with the name.
Actually, it was Jake all on his own.
Jake all on his own came up with the name, play on your last name of Downs to do Downstream.
The name actually originated years before you and I ever actually even met, because the plans for me to make fishing lures, which we'll talk about here in a few minutes, whenever I wanted to start making fishing lures, Jake came up with the name for the business of making the fishing lures, which is Downstream Outdoors, and I just loved that name, and it just kind of branched into everything else from there.
Okay, I didn't know the full story. I just knew Jake had been part of the name, so coming up with the name.
But yeah, that's another fun thing. You helped me realize my dream of making my own line of spinners. I wanted to make my own fishing lures. Just something I aspired to. Maybe I'm weird, but you helped that make that a reality, because once again I had no technology, so there was no ordering things online or credit cards. Who needs credit cards? If I can't pay for it, who needs a credit card? But you have these things, so it brought me up to where I can access things online that I couldn't access before and stuff like that. And
ultimately, I figured we'd save a whole lot of money if you were just making your own lures. And as much as you like to go fishing, it'd be easier just to have your own that work better than any of the ones you're buying in the store.
Yeah, and they were something. They were. Spinners, obviously, is my favorite style of fishing, and they were lures that were designed to fish the way I want to fish in catch fish, basically. And I feel like we're on generation 3 right now. That's what's out in stores, is what we call our Gen 3s, and I feel like it's absolutely the best line of lures I've produced at this point. We've produced.
They have a great weight to them. They're pretty solid lures. I mean, we've had a lot of luck on them.
Yeah, and not a whole lot of problems with them. Obviously, that helps. We set and make them one at a time.
Yeah.
We talked about this even like when we're bottling our honey. The processes that we go through in all of our productions, which you help me produce all of our products. There's so much hands-on each individual item that the quality control is so rigid. Like the minor flaws in anything, just they don't go out the door like that.
Down to our honey straws. I mean, we trim them up, make sure they look nice. We make sure there's no air bubbles in them.
Yeah, they all look the same. They're all they're all nice and clean and pure. There's no chunks of anything in there. Which obviously we're filtering our honey pretty good till that point, so it should be pretty clean. But we're still, on every single piece, down to the thousands of straws that you produced, and at this point we've probably produced a good, a couple thousand lures, and each one of them is held in our hands. And it'll be held in my hand, it'll be held in Erin's hand, it might be held in Carl's hand, or, whoever's with us. Each lure is handled 3 or 4 times, at least 3 or 4 times.
We
and
do like an assembly
every
line.
Time. Yeah, it's an assembly line. Each person does their job, and then, then they're put in a pile, and then they're got ready for the cards, and then once they're carded, then they're sorted and hung up on racks, and they're looked at constantly, because quality control is something that we're both very adamant on. If we're going to produce a product, we want it to be the absolute best product that we can produce.
Yep.
And we've talked about this. We haven't really put it out there a lot, but we have a lot of plans to expand actually into fishing lures over the next, hopefully here, couple months. We have all the equipment.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't rain as much.
Yes,
spring.
yes. We have all the equipment to.
We just need to be able to get outdoors to do it.
yeah. We have all the equipment to expand on the lure aspect, and we have some of the stuff to expand into fly fishing gear as well. So that's more products to keep your eye open coming from Downstream Outdoors here in the very near future. And it's all thanks to you.
Hey, I just helped the dream come alive.
Right on. It is a dream. I do feel like I'm living a dream, and obviously I give you a lot of credit for helping make that a reality. There's a lot of things that I wanted to do, right down to not even just the lures and the videos and stuff like that, but sharing my love of fishing. And I've shared it with you, everybody who meets me, I've shared it with them. And people don't realize what fishing can do for them, and you use it as an unplug. You know what I mean? For me, it's a mental escape from everything. When you have a fish on, and I'm sure you'll agree, when you have a fish on, you're not thinking about anything else but that fish.
No.
Especially when it's a big one.
Especially when there's no way it should have ended up on your hook.
I knew this story was coming. All right, let's hear this story.
We were at Plum Creek?
Yep, which we don't actually have a video of this. We didn't take our cameras. We just went out for the fun of it that day. We just wanted to have a little bit of fun fishing. We didn't take the cameras, but we did get pictures.
Yes, we got pictures. And it was one of those. I gave one of my, perfect casts right into the tree. And I'm sitting there and I'm wiggling it, trying to get it out. And you go to be a gentleman that you are and help me out. And right as he gets to it, it breaks loose. Comes flying back towards me, gets stuck in a bush. So I'm doing the same thing, wriggling it, trying to get it out of the bush. He's going over to the bush now to help. And as soon as he gets to it, it lets loose. And it plops into a pool that doesn't look like it's more than a foot deep of water. And I see this fish just come up and chomp on my lure. And I bring it in, and it was a 21-inch female brown trout that, I mean, we casted into this pool probably 50 times.
Yeah.
And never got nothing, no bite or anything. He crossed this area with 3 steps without getting his feet wet. So the water was very, very shallow there.
Yeah, I don't even think we were wearing our waders, but
no,
we were out in the middle of the
clothes.
stream. Yeah, we were out in the middle of the stream, standing on rocks and across the bank, back and forth, because it was that low.
And yeah, I pulled up that beautiful fish.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
It was just one of those, should not have caught that one. There was no skill to that. That was pure dumb luck.
And ultimately, whether anybody wants to admit it or not, fishing boils down to luck a lot.
Yeah.
It really does. There is some skill there, and the more skill you have, the less you rely on luck. But luck is always there. Yeah. Luck is always a part of it. But hey, luck can be fun sometimes too, right?
Luck was fun.
And even, like, you look at the last big brown that I caught over in the Frankstown.
Oh, the one you beat me by jaw?
Yeah, that big hook jaw in the end. Yeah.
Yeah, his 22-inch brown trout with the jaw like this on it.
But that was just simple luck. It was the right place, the right time. You know what I mean? That's what it boils down to, is just being in the right place at the right time to catch them bigger browns here in central Pennsylvania. But, I know I have enjoyed fishing with you over the past almost 5 years now.
Almost 5 years.
And we're going to do a lot more fishing for you guys and a lot more fishing for us.
We're hoping to maybe start being able to go fishing in some completely new to all of us places.
Yes.
Outside of Pennsylvania even.
Yeah. Over the next couple of years here, we're going to start expanding into further out waters. Obviously, we live fairly far south. We're almost into Bedford County, so it's really close for us if we want to jump into Maryland and West Virginia and stuff like that, so we can actually get out of the state and start exploring a little bit more, because we actually are, in our area, starting to run out of major bodies of water to fish. We still have a fair number of small mountain streams, which are going to hold just pretty much natives, which you don't really come along for those trips.
No, because I am very, very clumsy. What you haven't seen is stuff that if we ever do decide to do a blooper video on, we'll surely end up in there, but I fall a lot.
And whenever I'm exploring a new water, I always go first before I take her to see if it's doable for her to get into
Him,
that.
Carl, Mikey, Jake, they'll all go explore those. I said I don't want to roll an ankle and ruin the trip, so you guys go have fun. I'll fish the ones I know I'm good at.
Yeah, fair enough. Which ultimately your favorite place to wade is?
I really, really like going up to Erie. I really do like Erie. Erie is very, very simple though. As far as where around home, that place me and Carl went to where we caught like 5 different species of fish in the first 15 minutes we were there. I really enjoyed that place.
Monastery Road, there on the Frankstown branch of the Juniata River. Yeah, that's not a bad little place to wade. I know you've done alright on the Little J in most places.
Yeah, I just forget that I'm short a lot on the Little J and try to go in deeper than I should.
Hey, I'm told I still try to go into places that are deeper than I should. But it's all part of the adventure and part of the fun, I believe. But, all right, well, you got any more stories you want to add before we wrap this episode up?
I think we could probably go here for a while, so, no, I think we're okay right now.
All right, well, thank you, folks, for joining in. Keep your eye open on social media for that big giveaway that we're doing with the Mora knives, and, everything else that's going along with that. And make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Thank you very much. Thank you, Erin.
Thank you, and thank you guys for your support.
Absolutely. Have a wonderful evening.